Good evening, I'm Giuseppe Basili. I'm the essential you can find at the website www.fibstalker.trading.com. I also post regularly on Twitter using the fibstalker nickname here. Today is July the 19th, 2015. It's Sunday, and it's actually 13 minutes after midnight here in Toronto. And in this video, I'm going to review for you the main market I follow. I follow 14 markets, and I'll start right away. So in the next 10 to 12 minutes, I'm going to review 14 markets for you, and this might help you in understanding what's going on this week and how the algorithms are placed in this market. So let's start from the euro dollar. As we know, after some optimism during the and after the vote in Greece, we saw price actually respecting for the second time this 109.65, and my idea was that algorithms were anticipating a continuation higher after the vote and the decision as well. Basically, Greece came back into the control of bankers in Europe, and we saw this short 111.80 being participated. The longs are gone now, and price is going to move into 79.61, and we will see if this week we are going to see profit taking that spot. If that happens, the next measure move short, so I don't see this market now moving higher. The next measure move may come after that level is touched. Remember that this market could also lower into the 107, 105, 96 here, 106 level, and that would be the second target for this market. So continue to move lower. The S&P 500 has been very interesting here. I'm going to remove this additional analysis here done for my students in the coaching program, and those who follow me know that there was an October call. It was 1832 on that contract. This is the S&P 500 mini future, and the price went higher and went to actually hit the first target here. We also had an extension long, which brought price higher and eventually went to hit first target as well. Now, we have seen the end of last week trading the all the way halfway back here, and this is a symptom of a continuation higher. If we get a retrace here after the huge move higher last week, we are going to get not lower than 2094 here. If the market retraces, there's going to be an extension at this 2094. So there you can actually use the Phipps Talking timing technique to time the level for a continuation higher. Dollar index obviously showing strength, and at the open here it's jeopardizing again that 98.24. Remember that the level has pierced already, so at the moment this price is being pushed higher from the 94 level here, and I believe this market can now continue higher into the 104.57. Gold has been under pressure and still opening, and has opened under pressure as well here, as you can see. Sorry, let me show the daily here. Let me look at the daily, and this market is actually moved well below now the second target, and it's under pressure. I mean, we know that this market is I believe this market is manipulated actually, and because if it was not the case, gold would actually show the hand of all this inflation that is being added on top is being added by central banks in the currency war. So as you can see, another drop here, 2.23. This is going to start putting under pressure gold miners as well, which are going to sell futures here. So this is in a way is good news because it's possible to buy precious metals at lower prices. As you can see, price also got into that first target 111.03 of this larger setup here. So the next measure move, if we see a continuation lower, and if during the week you see price trading into the 12, the 11, sorry, 25, 26, that's going to be an indication for a continuation short in this market. Very interesting market. Of course, silver is actually showing the same behavior here. We are seeing this market moving on the downside and could actually challenge now the 1417. This again, in a way, it's a good news. It's very good news because it's possible to buy these precious metals at sensible lower price, and one price that could be projected here if we actually we can actually look at the weekly here, and we can see here that there was participation in this area and the potential for market now to move down into 1239, and that's almost assured if we get below this 1415. US dollar versus Japanese yen. This market is continuing higher, reflecting continued weakening from the central bank. There was participation last week at 120, so we have targets above, as you know, 23.6% first target, and we also touched that first target of this larger extension, so everything is pointing higher in this market. Euro versus Japanese yen, as we know, this market is in a move lower. I've mentioned that this market has to test the 122.11, or at least that's the level where participation and interest from the weeklies will be. And last week we traded a nice a measure move short here, and we are going to retest the all the way halfway back here, and let me trace that again. That's the lows to highs here, and it has been challenged, has been tested at the end of last week and now of 2 weeks ago, and this week bears have participated, and that's very, very important because it's showing a market that is still trapped between 135.50 and 137.20 here, but the longer time frames here is actually showing a potential for a continuation lower now, and this second test is going to be a dangerous test, so it's possible to see this market in 130, 150. Pound versus Japanese yen, that's we have seen again price participating at the all the way halfway back there. We had a higher anchor here pushing this price higher. Now if this price has to continue, it is going to do this from the next extension long here. So if you see a retracing to 190.85, that's still a long for a continuation higher. Pound versus US dollar has participated in these all the way halfway back here, and has tested a number of times here from when it trades from highs to lows. We see that this price is being pushed to previous highs, and that looks like the high probable outcome here. If price gets there, we'll see what happens. That's an area of potential participation long, so it's in a swing trade is good to take profit at 152.44. Australian dollar versus US dollar, and this market has been very weak, and it's now trading the first target after that extension that we indicated last week. So congrats to all those who went short at that, right at that 074.88 where algos were looking for this market, and at the open today, as you can see, the 73.17 was actually, it's very, very close to be tested. not yet, but eventually is going to be tested. And so for this market, we can anticipate for now a continuation lower, and this market is not getting any more tractions after that reaction at 75.60 here. It's not getting traction. If the market goes below 171.83, it's going to be a major failure for this market, and then this market is probably going to continue lower or start moving laterally on a very large time frame here. New Zealand dollar versus US dollar, very technical market. This has been actually studied in detail a lot. So on the weekly time frame, if you remember well, we had an anchor that was actually in play two times, and he was in play also a third time here, second time here, and now the price went into that second target. So if we see this market retracing into the next measure move, that should not surprise us. This market could actually bounce higher and in a profit taking here of the shorts into 168.43 and still being short. US dollar versus Canadian dollar, very interesting here. Of course, the Canadian dollar, with the intervention of the central bank last week, has pushed this price higher, and now we have new highs possible. 132.01 is the target of this extension long, and notice that this market could actually continue higher all the way into 137, 138 here. So if you have to buy dollars, that's probably the right time. Now is the right time to do that, and price could actually go into 138 very, very quickly, because this is an extension long. Euro versus Canadian dollar is actually we don't know here who's going to win. Of course, the euro is weak as well, but as as of last week, the weakness is actually balanced out. As you can see here, this price has been moving laterally. Now algos are still looking at 135.89, and there is the possibility for this market to get into 144. We will see who wins this week here, and we're going to see whether the failure of this level is going to tell us whether we're going to continue lower, or we're going to get participation again at this 140.37 area, starting at 140.37, and a continuation higher into those levels. And finally, US dollar versus the versus Swiss franc here. We mentioned that this market was in a lateral move, and shorts had participated, but clearly the US dollar has become stronger against this against the Swiss franc, and last week we mentioned this potential level that was participated, 0.9333, broke price into the first target. There is the potential for this price to move higher, in which case it will get into 0.9740 before a reasonable and significant bounce back. So thanks a lot for watching. This is it for this week. I wish you a great trading and non-trading week. And if you want to have more information about the Fibstock Cameras coaching program, let me know. I'll start enrolling now for the September session, starting at around the mid of September. And if you're interested, just drop me an email, and I'll give you more information about it. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. Bye bye now.